get there in the end. Okay. So, what you'll see straight away is actually if you look at the width of their product compared to the width that they're actually trying to clean, it's much, much narrower. So all that looks like it's going to be cleaning large swathes of dirt across your home. It really isn't. Perhaps more importantly, actually where it's supposed to be cleaning, you get these striations. So it's only cleaning every other bit. Now, I hear many people tell me that don't worry about getting close to edges because we've got bristles. Bristles are fantastic. Bristles will do the thing. That's what bristles get you. Okay? There is no level of clean there. It's about moving dirt, it's not about suction, and it's not about picking up dirt. And then when you get onto carpet, what you can see is there's still a significant amount left actually down on the carpet surface. That is what you get if you design as a vacuum cleaner first. Okay? So, perhaps the first thing to notice, there isn't a lot of dirt left there. Okay? And again, that comes down to, we designed it as a vacuum cleaner. We designed it to work on hard floor, we designed it to work on carpet. One other thing to note, not only has this product got a narrow path, if you actually compare it to the width of ours, we actually clean a wider path. That is even made stronger by the fact we are a lot narrower. What does narrower mean? Not only do we clean where we go, we can get into a lot more places. Think about your tables and your chairs. That other machine will struggle to get in underneath there. So you're either going to have to lift them up at the start of your clean and put them on top of your table, or you just give up. With 360i, it's designed to get into these tight spaces, so you get an incredible level of clean in a much larger surface area. Okay, so that's basically given us an initial view into, just going to make sure it comes on. Here we go. So that gives us the vacuum cleaning. Vacuum cleaning is only part of the problem. And in fact, it creates its own problem, which is basically that we use so much energy when we're actually cleaning. We really need to be clever and efficient with the way we move. What we can't do is bumble around for 2 hours sweeping around dirt. We haven't got the power to do that, okay? And quite honestly, it's pointless. We're a vacuum cleaner. So what we want to do is go over each area of the floor just once. We can afford to do that because of the cleaning power you see. But robots like to lie to themselves. When they move, their wheels don't kind of tell the truth. So if you imagine you told a robot to move forward 1 meter in a straight line, there's only one place you can guarantee it isn't. And that's 1 meter in front of you in a straight line. The reason being, when it asks the wheels to move, if you imagine that's the carpet pile, basically it crushes the carpet pile, and the robot hasn't even moved yet. So the wheel thinks it's gone somewhere, the robot really hasn't. What you need is a system that uses the world around it to understand where it is, rather than just understanding its wheels. Now, we're talking 2001. So 2001, we've moved on in the world of mobile phones. We've now got polyphonic ringtones. Fantastic. We don't have cameras, but we made a really bold decision, and that decision was that we're going to use vision as our primary technology. Why? Because humans do, because animals do, and there's a very good reason. It's the key sensing technology that enables you to actually understand the world around you. And it's only when you understand the world around you, you can actually do decent functionality. And that's what we're about with Dyson, functions for customers. So, we also like to make life a little more difficult for ourselves. And what we actually did was not just stick with straight vision, because if you imagine you have a mobile phone camera on the front of a product, what do you want your vacuum cleaner to do? You want it to get really close to objects. What's going to happen then? It's completely blind. So what you need is something that can see all around itself all the time. And that is panoramic vision. So, what you can see on the screen is actually a live feed from this product. So, if I put my finger, you can never see where it is. Probably see my finger there. If I now move around the edge of the machine, at no point does my finger ever go out of shot. So what that means is the robot can always see all around it. It's never blind. As long as it can see, the robot can navigate, and as long as it's navigating, it's doing sensible, efficient things with its power. Okay, so the other thing, sorry, I've lost my path just a little bit. The other thing about 360i that's really commonly misunderstood is that actually the camera doesn't tell the machine about the objects in the world around it. That's the job of these sensors that hide behind this black window here. So actually what happens is the 360i camera tells the machine where it is in the room. So if you imagine starting each run with a fresh piece of paper, so it doesn't remember things between runs. And what's happening is, as it's moving, the camera is saying, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. These sensors are saying, and I can see this. So what you're doing is you're slowly building up a map. And it's actually that map that enables the machine to clean methodically and efficiently and uses its battery power sensibly. And maps are absolutely critical. Because if you know where you are, you know where you've been, and you know where's left to clean. Perhaps most importantly, you also know where your dock is. So, whilst we use incredible amounts of power to actually clean, and we can run for 40 minutes, that doesn't matter. You get to 40 minutes, you haven't finished, just go back to your dock, you can recharge, and you go back out again, and you carry on cleaning. And it will keep on doing that time and time again until it's cleaned all of the accessible space. Okay. So, what we then have is the cleaning pattern that 360i uses. So what you'll see on the video is the very first thing 360i likes to do is move out into the middle of the room. And then unlike other products where you'll see a kind of lawnmower type pattern, what you'll see is a kind of square spiral. Now actually, this is really not that complex. What the robot's simply trying to do is never move more than one robot's width away from where it's been before. So all it's doing is it's gradually expanding out into the room. Imagine if you ended up sort of somewhere you didn't know. The last thing you do is immediately try and run off in as long a direction as you can possibly go. What you do is you slowly wander around and build up your knowledge gradually. And that's exactly what the robot's doing. The other advantage is that by never moving more than one robot's width away from where you've been before, you get incredible cleaning. You're not leaving strips uncleaned. And that, for us, is critical. 360i has another key difference. We actually clean in 5 by 5 meter grids. This is really important. What it will do, come off the dock, and it will clean that 5 by 5 meter grid completely before it moves on to the next one. And that's to avoid more wasted energy. So if you imagine you're in a large house, actually, you've probably seen other machines wander off, do half of one room, go off to another room, try half of that, and keep on having to crisscross back and forth again. And that's really incredibly wasteful of energy. So for us, we discovered the best way to use your energy is actually to just clean by one grid at a time before you move on to the next one. So, we have an incredible cleaner, and we have an incredibly intelligent cleaner. But about 5 years ago, everything started becoming connected. Now, that presented a challenge for us. Again, it's another area that Dyson had no experience in. But we realised that if our customers were going to have true potential from these products, we really needed to make this a connected product. But what we weren't prepared to do was make a gimmick. That's not what Dyson's about. So the only things we were ever going to put into the app were functions that genuinely provided benefit to our customers. So in fact, what do you get? Start, stop, pause, and abandon and clean. So those are the 4 main functions. And they can be done absolutely anywhere in the world. So once you're connected, it's a truly remote product. The next one is to basically look then at scheduling. So, with scheduling, what that means is you can start any day of the week, at any time. You can make it a one-off, or you can make it a repeat clean. Now, if you're anything like me, as soon as I've got a new product, the first thing I do is lose the manual. So what we realised is it's really critical that you actually have the manual available on the app. But this is where the connectivity of the product really starts coming into its own. We're really open about the product. We're being very honest in saying this is not a perfect vacuum cleaner or robot. People's expectations of robots are somewhere up here. Actually, most of the robots in the world at the moment are somewhere down here, and we think we've probably raised the bar to here. But there is a gulf. There is a difference. Some of the problems are robotic, and some of the problems are actually vacuum cleaner problems. So let's deal with the vacuum cleaner problem. If you leave your sock on your floor, and you go over it with your normal vacuum cleaner, it gets stuck in the vacuum cleaner. If you leave your sock on the floor, and you leave the robot going, it will suck up the sock. Now this is not a specific problem to our robot. It will happen on all. But what is interesting is the robot will let you know. So if you're connected, it will send you a notification saying, I've got something stuck in my brush plug. If you click on that notification, it will open up the app and it will take you to exactly the page you need to sort out the problem. What you'll find there is a video taking you through a step-by-step guide on how to rectify the problem. And then you'll also have some illustrations, if that doesn't do it for you, to actually get you to a point of success. Even then, if you're still having problems, there's a link that you can connect to, and you'll be able to talk to one of our Dyson call centre operatives, which means you've got a human helping you through the problem. And this is what I say about expectations. If everyone was to claim that they have a perfect robot, you're only going to meet with disillusionment when you actually first use it. If you're realistic and say, there are going to be some things a customer will need to do to make it work with them. But if you make sure you support them in that, by making sure that the app has everything they need, by making sure that the robot informs them, and by also having really well-trained call centre staff who can help you through any problems, what we're trying to do is be realistic and get people through that pain point to the point where they're actually using the product continuously and genuinely gaining the benefit from it. Now, the final point about having a robot is you don't want to be there when it's running. That's the whole point. But what gets you to the point where you're prepared to leave it like that? It's about trust. So what do you need to be able to trust the robot? Well, for a vacuum cleaner, it's two things. The first thing is it needs to clean, and the second thing is you need to be confident it's gone everywhere it needs to go. In terms of clean, that's incredibly easy with a Dyson. There's a bin on the front, it will be full of dirt, especially if you haven't used a Dyson product before. Okay, we find that for people who haven't previously been using Dyson products, on the first usage, they will have to empty the bin 2 or 3 times in the first clean. Once you start using it regularly, that bin is more than enough to keep a regular clean going without having to empty it through the rubber. So that means that you're confident it's cleaned, but what about where it's cleaned? So the final point is on the app. At the end of each run, the robot will send you a map showing where it's been. Now, what it doesn't do is take images off the machine. We're really conscious about security. So there's no images coming off. What you see is a floor plan of your house. And you can be confident that that's cleaned everything. So fantastic. It's cleaned and it's gone everywhere. You've got everything you need to know. Finally, being a connected product means that we can do over-the-air updates. So, when we released this in Japan in October of 2015, we listened to our customers. It was a great sounding board to find out some of the issues that people had over there. So, people were saying they didn't quite get close enough to the edge together. There were times where they had problems in some low light, and the machine stopped and thought too often. They were all things that we went to work on to make sure we could optimize and improve. And in fact, those customers in Japan have seen 3 over-the-air updates that their products has improved at no cost to them, and we are committed to continuing to developing these products. So back in base in Malmesbury, we are working on versions 2 and 3, but everything we do is always with a view to making sure we support 360i as well. So it's about always having accessibility to our cutting-edge technologies on 360i. So, in summary, where are we? We've achieved the target that was set us by James on day 1. We have a fantastic vacuum cleaner. It's using real full-size technologies that have taken years to develop at Dyson and then miniaturized down into an incredibly small form. We've also developed an incredibly intelligent vacuum cleaner. So you can be confident that at the end of the day, it's going to have cleaned everywhere and that you can leave it to do its job.